to another episode of Outcasts to Icons. Now, in our last episode, of course, we finally got our first job, and it is here at HIFK. Now, I thought we were going to be in for a really tough time, and it has been the ultimate baptism of fire. I really have to say, it is just difficult. Oh my god. I mean, I don't pretend that I'm any good at the game, as you know, but I'm also not that bad at the game. After all, we did win the league, Champions League with Portsmouth, but my god, we've been up against it this month. We really have. Also, guys, you might notice that again we're not using any kits because I couldn't find any. So if you guys know where I can get the top flight finish kits or some finished kits from, then do let me know, because I don't have time to make the bastards, unfortunately. But for some reason, it seems to be every pissing league in the world is available except Finland, and I don't know why. So if you do know where I can source some of those from, then please do get in touch. Also, still very interested to see what you guys have got regarding tactical ideas, because, you know, as much as you can see from the results we've had, things have gone horribly. Our contract is until November next year, which means I'm thinking, hopefully, that the board will give us another season. It will be almost certainly in the second tier, but which is kind of where I expected us to be anyway. So I think we've just kind of, you know, we've had a baptism of fire, and that's disappointing, I'll admit, but I still think there are some positives to take from that. So we really are going to need to come up with a tactic, and I'm just starting to wonder if maybe we do need to come up with like a tactic that's going to be our style of play, because after all, you know, I want Norm to become a sort of Pep Guardiola type of manager, in the sense that he has a style of football that he imposes on a team in the same way that Van Gaal does. You know, that's what I want to try and do. So I'm hoping if we can come up with a tactic that works, that we can use then to build our legacy on. That's the idea. So guys, if you got an idea of a tactic we can use for our legacy, do drop it in the comments, because I'm desperate for that right now. And obviously, I'm going to hold off on recording the next episode after this, just so I can get some tactical advice, in all honesty, because it has just not been happening for us this month. Now, of course, we started off with that 4-1 defeat against VPS. Now, in our next game, we were at home against KUPS, and it got even worse. I mean, the thing is, though, I don't think we were as bad in this one. Of course, I changed the tactic around loads, because it just didn't work from the first game. But this one, like, it was disappointing, because we went behind, and that was fair enough. It was a good goal from Serbeladze. It's a good finish. Unfortunately, what kind of happened after that was just a... MacLeod scored a goal from a rebound, but not just a normal goal from a rebound, one that took my goalkeeper so long to get back up again that I'm pretty certain he was still on the floor while they were celebrating. Like, it was a long-range free kick that was saved, and he was on the floor for so fucking long. I thought they'd fixed that crap, I really had, but it was so bad. And it wasn't even like it was a close range finish. He was outside the area when he put in the rebound. That's how bad my goalkeeper was for it. It doesn't help though, of course, as you can see in a lot of these games, we've been picking up 2 or 3 injuries, and to the point where we basically have been playing mostly reserve players. So not only have we probably got one of the weakest squads in this league, but we've not even got our full strength squad, which is just giving us no hope. But then things got even worse when Jukka Sinisalo literally just headed it without any pressure into his own net to make it 3, and then Hataka scored a long-range free kick, and we were 4-0 down, and I was thinking, what the hell has happened here? And then we got on back through Inutule when we were doing okay, but we still weren't that good in this game. We committed a lot of fouls, as you can see, and then they got one late on as we tried to push for a goal, but I thought we were unlucky to lose by as many as that. So I kind of took some positives from that, and things have improved slightly. Like, we went away to HJK in our next game. Bear in mind, HJK, one of the biggest sides in Finland, and yeah, okay, we didn't really make much of an impression on this game, but we did only lose 2-0, and I know that sounds amazing for me to say that with any kind of positive spin, but sometimes you've just got to look for the glass half full, and that is really difficult right now. Unfortunately, it was just yet another game with injuries. Jukka Halma had to go off in this one after 40 minutes, and it's difficult. I mean, obviously that was against a really top team. We wouldn't have been expected to win that anyway. Unfortunately, it was our next game, which was away against a team we should have been beating, or should have had a chance against. But again, unfortunately, 2 more first half injuries. I don't know what to do. We're getting 2 or 3 injuries per game at the moment, and I know it's to do with training, but I've been in the club like a month. We haven't had a chance to make any changes, basically. It didn't also help the fact that these games, we played like 4 games in the space of about 10 days, which meant that everybody was absolutely knackered going into it, and it was crazy tough, basically. It's just insanely difficult to do. Also, it was a very weird scenario in this game. Have you ever had this? Because I'm kind of curious about this, guys. Basically, there was a highlight where Milo Jung went through on goal, but he was running so slowly that, basically, there was no one within about 20 yards of him because of the way that he'd broken the offside trap. They'd pushed quite high up, and he'd broken the line, which was brilliant. He's through on goal, touches the ball out in front of him, and then he sort of stops and just lets the ball keep rolling, and then he sort of creeps towards it as if he's almost walking backwards. in so doing, the other players catch up. I don't know how fast he is, but unless he's got 4 pace, yeah, then that's ridiculous. But then I went into the 3D highlight thing to try and see what the hell happened with that, and it wasn't there. Like, it was as if it never happened, and it's really strange. I skimmed through about 5 minutes of full match footage around the area, and I couldn't find it, which made no sense because I made a note of it. So it's really, really strange. Have you ever had that happen where you see something in the 2D classic mode, you then try to look at it, and not a goal though, like in the actual 3D thing to see what the hell happened, and it just isn't there. Really strange. Point is, though, we didn't deserve to win this game. As you can see, Lati were all over us. Again, it was just another poor performance. And in our final game of the month, I basically wanted to see, right, was it just me being tactically inept? Because obviously that is definitely to do with it, because, you know, we are clutching at straws trying to get them to play a decent system at the moment. And so I decided, fuck it, I'll plop my tactic from Red Star in, just to see if that makes any difference. And you might think, well, okay, it has made a difference. You've drawn 2-2. Yeah, but we didn't deserve to draw 2-2. We won a penalty and then got a lucky bounce, and Halma made it 2-2. So the fact is, we were still absolutely woeful in this game as well. And bear in mind, you know, IFK are a decent team, so I guess that is good, and it's the first point that we've gained, and we actually had a man of the match. But for me, I don't think it is just down to that. I think that we need to come up with a tactic that is going to be sort of our legacy, and that's going to be basically the plan over the next couple of episodes. I need your opinions on this, guys. If you've got an idea for a tactic that could be our legacy, then drop it in the comments. We'll try it out, and if something works, then that will be the sort of thing we'll try to build our future sides around. That's hopefully what we're going to do. So apologies for the massively woeful start, but you know, I guess we kind of always knew we were going to have an uphill struggle at times, especially when you come in with like 6 games to go, virtually no players, basically, because they're all injured, to the point where we're having to play players that have got like brown stars because there's just nothing. It's disappointing. So let's just take a little look at the squad. Why the hell not? Even though we've only scored a couple of goals this month, you know, you may as well have a little look. Top goal scorer at the moment is still Inutuli, and so well done to him, I guess. Assist wise, it's actually Lassas, who looks decent, but unfortunately a lot of them want to leave now. Player of the match, we've had 2. Inatula somehow has been player of the match twice. I don't even know really how. Yellow cards, Halma with 8. Red cards, Vasala with 2. We've also had red cards this month too. Yanni Backman's only played 1 game and he had an alright performance in it. Aerial challenges, 26 actually for Sinisalo. Too bad he scored an own goal. Key passes, 20 for Lassas. That's appalling. Key tackle, 21. He looks like he's alright, but I just... Interceptions, 110, and of course value is Vasala. But the point is, this is how the league is looking at the moment. As you can see, we are, of course, relegated, and we have been for some time. I still don't quite understand why there's a third game. Why there is a 33rd game. That doesn't quite add up in my head. I'm still very shocked as to why that is the case. Like, it's a 22... There's 12 teams in the league, which means there's 11... You play 11 other teams twice. Wait a minute, what am I talking about? That would be 20... Or is there way more games? I don't know. I'm really confused as to why there's 33 games. Do you play them all 3 times? But if that's the case, then surely you get a disparity of the number of home and away games. Really, really odd. I can only assume that's what it is, that you play them all 3 times, but how do you decide which ones you play at home and away? That seems a little bit unfair to me. But hey, never mind. Let's just get on with this, basically. And so, yeah, tactics is going to be bad. Also, something else weird happened. So... After a couple of games, after that second 5-1, we got a notification from my assistant basically saying, you know, you need to have a team meeting to try and G them up a little bit. So I thought, right, that's a good idea. Let's, you know, I did the whole don't let your head drop and all this kind of crap. And the thing I got back was, we seem to be having a lot of team meetings. How? I haven't had a team meeting yet. How can we be having a lot of team meetings when I haven't held any fucking team meetings? So I don't know what that's about. But hey, it's a disappointing start to Norm's managerial career. Let's put it that way. And obviously he'll get a wage drop if we do stay at the club. But for the moment, there's no signs that they are actually going to sack us. Although that could all massively change. And I don't know whether that would be good or bad. I feel like, you know, given a chance with a proper preseason, proper team, we could have a proper crack at getting ourselves back up again next year and actually getting Norman some reputation back, basically. But we are going to need to come up with a tactic that's actually going to work. And I suppose that will be much more helpful when the team is actually fit, because at the moment I'm looking and we've just got so many players out injured. Hopefully, with that weird gap, because if you look here, there was loads of games really close together and all of a sudden there was just like a month's break. And that kind of did help us and get us a little bit more fresh, and I think was part of the reason we were able to get that result. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber. Let's jump into the match preview screen today. And, wow. ROPS are actually champions, it would seem, which is quite impressive, actually. So, you know, we've I mean, VPS are as well right in there too, so they were the first team we ever played against. So let's just say, so it's still injured. We've got Raikkonen out injured, and Anya Melee is injured. That's not too bad, actually. We're looking a bit more fresh now, but that's the tactic I've been using. I use my Red Star one basically just to test it out. Now, I don't really want to do that, because that's, you know, I want to have our own tactic for this save, but I just needed to do something. And I just wanted to see, you know, is it down to pure, this is what I mean, like, we've so little in terms of fitness right now, and the morale is awful. Like, I want to see, is it just that I'm shit at tactics? And obviously I don't pretend that I am good at tactics, because as you know, I'm not. But I'm not that bad, surely. So yeah, it's just a case of, is it just down to that, or are we just appalling? And I think it's a bit of both, really. I'm not great at tactics, but I'm not that bad. But at the same time, we're also awful. Hopefully that will have given us a little bit of confidence. I really don't know. We're just going to try this for the last game of the season, since it makes no difference anyway, as we're already relegated. It's just an experiment, if nothing else. I would like to think that we're not going to end up getting the sack after just, like, 2 episodes at this club. I was kind of hoping that there would be a bit more longevity to it. But I suppose that is the difficulty when you take over. Oh, my God. Like, this is the thing as well. When you've got low reputation, players just don't listen to you half the time. Something else I've noticed is that we've been creating some okay opportunities, but then every time it looked like we're about to get a good opening, because we have had some highlights, there's always, like, although these always seem to lead to other highlights, there's always someone who does an awful first touch where the ball runs about 20 yards away from them and then the other position just get it back again. It just seems that every single game that is the story, and I'm hoping that we'll have some examples of that tonight as well. But I don't know, I want to see, you know, hopefully we'll get some examples of it, but I just think that we need to come up with something. We need to come up with some way of playing better next season. They just seem to have the ball so far away from them, and some of the goalkeeping's been utterly shocking. But anyway, on the positive side, you know, we were always going to be up against it, although admittedly I think we've probably been anything, if anything, worse than the manager they sacked. That's a bit better. Korhonen. Can he get something? I think there's going to be a proper highlight here. We've had 35 seconds of the game already, but that's what I mean. Look at those touches. Some of them are just awful. Now Katovic is in. Almost certainly going to go 1-0 down within the first few seconds of the game, and that's a poor finish from Katovic there. Letting us off the hook, essentially. SJK aren't brilliant, though, so you never know. We might be able to get a second point. And, oh, it's cleared away. I don't know where my fullbacks have gone to, and look at that ball over the top. Okay, that's good. Just win that. How slow are you? Oh, for I don't know, the team, they just look terrible, unfortunately. Although, I don't know, it's going to be an uphill struggle, of course, when we first took over, but I wasn't expecting it to be as bad as this, and, oh, dearie me, that's gone straight through the goalkeeper. It is just a case of, this team is awful at the moment, and unfortunately, I don't know where it's going to get any better, because half the players want to leave. Like, the moment it said you were relegated, I got literally 9 notifications. Like, somebody put a tackle in at all? No? Okay, cool. Let's get it on Get Stuck In and try that. The thing is, I'm just editing that other tactic now, and it's very, very difficult. And there's the rebound goal. Get up, maybe, at all? I know you're a bad goalkeeper, but is there a stat for being able to get on your feet? I don't know, is there? Because this seems to be back now. I understand they're not good goalkeepers, but I've not seen the opposition's goalkeepers do this. Yet, anyway. But then again, I suppose we'd have to have shots in order for that to happen. Right, so, we're 2 down already. And, like, what the hell do you change? Nothing we've managed to, like, basically, I spent those first sort of 3 or 4 games where we obviously lost quite a bit before I started resorting to these sort of tactics. Basically just twiddling with the tactics in all the games, trying to see if anything I did made any difference. And literally, look at that. Like, just awful. And obviously, you know, I'm to blame for this because it is a tactical thing, but, you know, they are scoring pretty much every, look at this goalkeeping, it's just useless. Utterly awful. We're going to have to try and crack at them, I guess, but we've just been completely appalling. Like, nothing I did tactically, and I changed so many things tactically, and obviously, you know, you can't do that, but then when you come in mid-season, like, oh, what are you doing? Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. I honestly don't know what to do right now, because nothing I can do tactically is making any difference to this. They are just losing games. I mean, what is the goalkeeper playing at? I don't even think he's that bad of a goalkeeper, even. That's the worst thing about it, really. Do we have to close him down? That's a shite. Let's have a look at his stats compared to the rest of our team, anyway. Let's see. Report. 3.5 star player, apparently. Whoa, match fitness. Is he not our usual goalkeeper? Why isn't Johansson starting? I'm going to bring him off. I'm sorry. I know you should never do that, but Johansson is usually our starting goalkeeper, isn't he? Yes. Not that he looks a lot better, but Jesus, he hasn't conceded 4 first-half goals. There is that. Oh, yeah, really. I gotta say, I was expecting this to be difficult, and we have really thrown ourselves into the deep end. And I guess maybe by taking this job, we kind of expected that, but my God. I hope you're still with me, is all I can really say. That things are going to get better at some point in this save. You know, we're not just going to end up losing games forever. We're going to find ourselves a tactic, and we're going to build our legacy. You know, not everyone has the perfect start to their careers. You know how it is. But we do look utterly abject. To the point where the players just don't have any pace. They look so slow. And obviously they're worse players, and we're so used to watching better teams, but it does seem that we are the slowest team by an absolute mile. We're second to every ball. Are we on closed down more? Yeah, we are, but we're not doing it. They don't seem to listen half the time. That's at least the goalkeeper's making some saves, though. But we just seem to be letting them through us. And I don't have a backup tactic to switch to, unfortunately, because we just don't have a backup tactic. Well, actually, or do we? Oh no, I do have a backup tactic. Okay, I'm going to switch to this. Let me just make sure I've got the right setup for this. I have made a second tactic. This was the one I was using before. Let's see if this makes any difference. Have I got the right players for it? Is there a left midfielder available on the bench? No. The squad is incredibly imbalanced too. There's a lot of attacking midfielders. Like, just tons of them. Tons and tons and tons of them for no apparent reason. Like, I don't know what formation they would use with 4 attacking midfielders, but they've got no shortage of the bastards. Let's go attacking, I guess. I mean, it's a change, but like, I don't think it'll make any difference really. I've just been experimenting with all kinds of things, basically just tweaking little things here just to see if it makes any difference. So we can, there you go for a free kick. See if we can make any kind of impact on this thing. So like, you know, make a change, even if you're losing the game massively, make a change and just see if it has any effect. Like, you start having a couple of shots or a little bit more possession, and nothing has made any difference at all. They just seem completely abject, and obviously the morale is going to affect all these things, but unfortunately I think we've essentially taken over as the captain of a sinking ship, and we are going down with it at the moment. That is the issue. Let's bring on Milo Young, even though he's absolutely useless at times. Defending, we've got no centre-backs fit. We've only got really full-backs, and they were... actually, I won't bring him on because Vassala's already got himself sent off once this season. It's just shocking. We're 5 down against SJK. SJK aren't even that good. Like, they're a sort of mid-table team. And bear in mind, we were able to get draws away from home at teams like, you know, well, not draws, what we're talking about. We got a draw against, and on the rebound, because goalkeeper, it's offside that time. But, I don't know, like, bear in mind, we started this game with our Red Star tactic, and it is, obviously they don't always translate over because you need the right players to play that kind of style, because Red Star, of course, are often dominating leagues, which is why it's kind of difficult to play. He's only just offside there. But again, the goalkeeper just seems to take forever to get up on his feet again. And then does a weird crouch thing there, which is bizarre. So it is going to be incredible. Look at this, 2 shots. We've just, nothing we can do has made any difference at the moment. It is difficult. I'm just going to level it. It is difficult to be managing this team when you've got the worst team in the league and morale is terrible and they pass like that. Lassus. You know, it is difficult. And that's why I'm asking for advice, because, you know, we need to build this. We need to get Norman some confidence back, really, because at the moment I have a worry that we might not actually be at this club next season, that we might just... They're just so slow. They are just so slow. I must say, the goalkeeper's done better since he came on. I think he's only conceded the 1 goal, which is always a bonus, but really, we've deserved to lose this probably by even more goals than we have. You know, it's one of those things, isn't it? 5-0, terrible result. I guess I'm just not used to it. No, we've had a lot of success with Portsmouth and Red Star, and so it's weird to be losing all these games constantly. It's quite a harsh feeling, actually, to go from that into this. But I guess, you know, you've got to have your down days to have the up days at a later date. So, with that in mind, guys, that is a terrible result, but hopefully we can bounce back from that, and hopefully once you guys have dropped some tactical knowledge bombs upon me, I'll have something better for pre-season, and hopefully we'll still be at the club. Of course, you know, even if we're not at the club and we're looking for a new job, I'll still be able to use that tactical advice when we join a new team, because I want to try and build a legacy and build a style of play, basically. And that style of play can be whatever you guys want to play, basically, just as long as it works. I don't want to have no tactics off the internet, stuff like that. I want us to build our own one, like we have done in the previous saves, but, you know, I cannot do this alone. That is what I will say. So, guys, desperately sorry about the terrible performances, basically, is all I can say, and I hope you're still with me. Please do drop a like on this video if you like what you're seeing, regardless of the horrific performances. And if you'd like to even on that, please do subscribe to the channel for more Red Star and Outcast icons in your inbox every single day at 5:30 and 8 o'clock. And I will see you guys in the next episode, where I really hope it will be us in charge of HIFK soon, still. But if it isn't, then we might well be back on the job hunt again. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.